Yeah, I think another Olympic topic was obviously in the semifinal, Jayson Tatum didn't get off the bench again. And in the final, obviously there was a big uproar. And I think the conversation would have been you know, very toxic and very controversial had the USA lost that semifinal game because a lot of people just would have been saying, well, if Kerr would have played Tatum, things could have been differently, la da 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 da.
Absolutely. I was
Um,
wondering.
and then in the finals, he did get a little bit of tick. Um, Looked very mid in those minutes that he did play. I'm going to be honest.
Playing
Uh,
timid. He's playing very timid.
Well, yeah,
yeah, I think,
it's his confidence is messed up, and that's the one thing in basketball that once that's gone, you might as well just come here, sit next to me, big fella. You know what I mean? You got to have confidence when playing any sport, or else you're just gonna just look like that. Like, if you have no confidence to hit an open shot, and your name is Jayson Tatum, then why are you on the court?
yeah, and we talked about this after the first Olympic game when he didn't get off the bench at all. He didn't play at all, and you talked about how that's insane, and that just can't happen. And I was a little more kind of on the fence about it because I could kind of see based on the way he shot the ball in the playoffs from the perimeter, and then obviously in the exhibition games he didn't shoot the ball well. And then as we saw throughout the rest of the Olympics, he didn't make a single jump shot. I mean, there was a stat I saw. He went 0 for 16 on jump shots through in the Olympics. So he didn't make a single one. I don't know if it was the Olympics plus the exhibitions or just the Olympics as a whole. I think it was the Olympics plus the exhibition. But just the fact that he wasn't able to make a single jump shot kind of just to me is the main reason why he wasn't able to get minutes consistently because you're not going to put the ball in his hands, and you're not taking the ball out of LeBron's hands. You're not taking the ball out of Steph's hands. You're not taking the ball out of KD's hands or whoever else, or even Ant-Man when he was doing his thing and cooking with the second unit. You're not taking the ball out of any of these guys' hands to let Jayson Tatum do his thing from the top of the key and get in that drive and kick game that he likes to do. So that was the big reason to me. Obviously, he can contribute to other areas, but the fact that he was thrown off the spacing because he couldn't shoot and he didn't have any confidence in his jumper was to me the reason that I didn't want him to be in the starting lineup. And while I could understand why he didn't play, even though I mean, I think you could squeeze minutes for him a few, but at this point it's moot. They won the gold, so it doesn't matter. But I think, debating about whether him deserving to play 5 or 6 minutes isn't a big deal one way or the other either way.
No, yeah, and yeah, you 100% saw this coming from miles away, and I think what this Olympics did, we talk about raising the stocks of players and lowering the stocks when we come to how Jayson Tatum's looked at in the basketball hierarchy. Devin Booker's stock has definitely raised. Yeah. So like after the gold medal game, I text you, I said, hey man, like you got to put this guy in the category of just a hooper. Like, look at guys like, oh yeah, he just can wake up,
Yeah.
put the shoes on, and let's go. Who am I playing with? All right, that works. So and which you could have put him in before, but this just kind of just solidifies it. Just he is what this exposed about Tatum is his inability to one, I guess, just play off ball
Adapt to a different game.
and yeah, and adapt to a different game. And you look at Jamal Murray, kind of had the same issue playing with Canada, trying to play with Shea Gilgis as
Yeah.
like an off ball player, where versus like bringing the ball up the court all the time, running pick and roll through him. Tatum it relies heavily on a lot of isolation and a lot of dribbles, and that's kind of where I said, uh, and I think last episode, a couple episodes ago, Kobe fucked Jayson Tatum game up because he over here trying to set up reverse spin, pivot back shits, and set up isos, isolation. He trying out there trying to run a triangle offense and shit. Whereas Devin Booker, he playing king of the court. Three dribbles. I ain't got nothing in three dribbles. I'm getting rid of it. I catch it in the corner. I'm going up with it, pump fake, hot, higher here, three dribbles, get to the rim, scoop. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
his I feel like his game is over complicated. It's much more complicated than it has to be. Jayson
Mhm.
Tatum is, and that's been my issue with Jayson Tatum ever since I saw him doing detail and want to be mini Kobe. You're not him.
Yeah.
You Kobe, say what you want to say. Jayson Tatum, frame wise, is more blessed than Kobe Bryant. Pause. He's 6'9".
100%.
Huh?
100%.
Yeah, you 6'9", you got a 7 foot something wingspan. I guarantee it. I ain't gotta look it up. You can just catch the ball, turn around, and shoot over people. There's no reason you should be even worried about the feet work. Oh, I got to have my pivot toe here, my pinky toe there. Got to make, yeah, you doing too much. So hopefully he gets into the lab and realizes, like, man, like no one can stop me from catching, turning around, and get into the rim.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
100% agree. And so yeah, building off the stock going up, I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back for because heading into the Olympics there was a lot of noise, especially in the first exhibition when Devin Booker was kind of in the starting lineup. And I was always kind of on the side that, I thought he was a good fit in the starting lineup because I thought we saw in the 2021 Olympics he kind of bought into that 3 and B role and playing off ball and playing defense and doing the little things that he doesn't necessarily do on a night in, night out basis in the NBA because obviously his role is so different where he's on the ball, taking tough mid-range contested shots. You know how he plays. He's got an insane bag in the league. Like he has one of the best bags in the league, in my opinion. Um, and so I think, after seeing that 2021 Olympics and just kind of understanding, I mean, he even tweeted, I think Kuzma tweeted something about the Team USA needs guys that are going to, need all-stars that are going to buy into a role and be okay going into the corner and not touching the ball for a few possessions and playing defense. And he quoted that tweet. He said, "I'll do it." And that was, I don't know, 2 years ago or something. And then obviously
Right.
he stood on business. That's exactly what he did. I mean, I think he still put up points. He averaged like 11 through the Olympics. I mean, he
Oh
shot
yeah.
he shot
Oh yeah.
56% from three. I mean, he was shooting the lights out the entire Olympics.
That
Uh,
Devin Booker over. Ooh.
Mhm. He was consistent, defensively throughout the Olympics. I mean, he had a 20 to 3 assist to turnover ratio throughout the Olympics. So like pretty much like there was little critique that you could have for his game throughout the Olympics. Like he pretty much played his role like as perfectly as you would have wanted. A guard next to like a Steph Curry, next to a LeBron, and then obviously in the last game next to KD, like a guy that, he can just play defense and then hit his shots when he gets his opportunities. And then if he gets the ball and he has to make a decision, what I'm saying? Like you talked about it, 3 dribbles, he's attacking the closeout, he's kicking to Steph or kicking to another guy, moving the ball and keeping the offense moving. And I think in that Serbia game, his shot was the one that really turned the momentum. I
Yeah.
think
Started the run.
they were down 11, and then KD hit the three and then they called the foul on Jokic where he shoved Anthony Davis. So I guess in the FIBA rules you retain possession after that shot. So then on the sideline of bounds, Steph kind of used himself as a decoy, and so both of the men were both D Book's man was worried about Steph. So D Book just came off a little down screen from Embiid, got the open three, and then boom, from 11-point game it's a 5-point game, just like that, boom boom. Because beforehand, US was like keeping it in that like they weren't getting it inside like 6 to 8 points. They were kind of hovering around that range and they were struggling to break through. And so I feel like when he hit that shot, that kind of changed the entire momentum of the game. And then I think we really turned up from there and we're able to close it out. So yeah, um, I'm just happy because I've always been, book guy being in Arizona a couple years. I got to see his game up close and personal, so I became a fan of him. Um, and so I'm just glad to see that he's getting his flowers. You know what I'm saying? And people are seeing that, people were quick to anoint Ant as shooting guard one in the league.
Okay.
And
All right. Let's not. Let's. Hey, yo. I
I think it's
understand.
very close. You can make a debate between either or. It's about preference. They're both borderline top 10 players to me in the league. Um, Six one way has they're both great. You can't go wrong with either guy. I think you can make a compelling argument for either guy being the better player, being the best shooting guard in the league right now.
No. I okay. No, I don't think that. I think Ant's kind of taken his overall game to a different level by what he's able to do on the defensive end and on the offensive end. I don't know if you replace Anthony Edwards with Devin Booker if the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to the Western Conference Finals. And what this also made me think is Devin Booker two or the third best player on a championship team? Just because of his ability to play off the ball so well, on a championship team
And he can be a two for sure. I mean, he was a 2 games away from being a number one on the championship team.
and lost. Wait, Chris Paul was the number one.
No,
Chris Paul was the number one. Chris Paul was the alpha on that
no.
team.
Come on,
Chris Paul
man.
was the alpha on that team.
Come on, man. Come on, we long. Book was 1A. Book was 1A on that team.
Okay.
I mean, Chris,
1A.
he averaged like 27, 28 throughout the entire playoffs and through the regular season. I mean, Chris Paul obviously was more of like a 17 and 8 or 9, 17 and 9 guy, 17 and 10 guy. Um,
I
but I
look at
think we
Chris
saw
Paul as
like
the
we saw in the playoffs, like especially in that Lakers series, Chris Paul was hurt and he didn't do shit in that Lakers series and Book pretty much won that series on his own. I mean, like he
no, he
got some
didn't.
role
No,
player
he didn't.
contributions.
DeAndre Ayton outplayed Anthony Davis damn near.
Well, Anthony Davis got hurt, but
Davis was hurt. AD was hurt. AD was hurt.
but I mean, even that game six, Devin Booker gave us 47 in the closeout game in LA. I mean, he absolutely destroyed us in that game. And then in the finals, he had back-to-back 40-point games. I mean, he was the guy. Chris Paul, I would say, is a 1A, 1B. Like Chris Paul was the emotional leader for sure, and obviously he was the vet. But I think like Booker was the best player.
Look at it this way. The one time they went to the finals, Booker was the guy. You could make the case now that Booker may be such a 1A that he can't play with KD because KD's also a 1A.
Hmm.
So I mean, like,
I mean, yeah, the year they got KD, I mean, the first year when they got into the playoffs, Booker turned into Michael Jordan for that playoff run they
Yeah,
went
he
on. I
was
mean, he
getting
yeah,
the
averaged like
he was
he
getting the
averaged
Kobe Bryant.
36 on like 60%, 60, 50, 90, some crazy
he,
shooting
he's about to
splits.
take out Jokic.
Yeah, I mean, they took him six. That was the toughest series they had because Devin Booker had a game where he shot 20 of 25 from the field, and then he had another game where he had like 18 for 25, 26 or some ridiculous. Like he was literally like backpacking shit. Like, I mean, he was better than KD in that run by far.
No,
Obviously,
100%.
KD was getting acclimated and whatnot, but
Was Booker
um,
hurt this year in the playoffs?
no, I just think Minnesota had the best defense in the league. I mean, he had in that game four, he put up 49. But the first 3 games he didn't do nothing crazy. KD wasn't anything special neither.
Yeah,
Both of them. KD was obviously more efficient, but that's just KD. He's just a more efficient player in general. But um, I just don't think they had the depth to match up with Minnesota. They got Yusuf Nurkic starting at center. That's the core issue.
you had
And
you had
played
Jalen
shit.
bothering Book the whole time, bothering KD kind of.
No, yeah,
Doing like,
McDaniels and Anthony, yeah, they're hell.
Yeah,
No,
but I think going back to your point, I think he can definitely be a two because um I'm of like if you put Devin Booker on if you replace Devin Booker with or Jayson Tatum with Devin Booker on the Celtics this past year, they win the championship still. But no doubt. No doubt in my mind they still win it.
yeah,
There's at
but
least
if
there's
you got Derek White and
if
Drew
you have the
Holiday,
if you have the exact same team and you just
yeah,
swap Jason
they
Tatum
were
with Devin Booker,
stacked. They were
yeah,
stacked.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm
yeah, they
saying,
were
and he would
stacked.
have been he would have been number one on that team. So ultimately, to me, he could be on a number one if you have the ideal supporting cast around him. Obviously, he's going to need more help than a guy like a LeBron or a Giannis or Steph in his prime. But with the right supporting cast. I mean, I think he could be, but obviously, I think his idealized role is as a number two.
hmm. So how many number ones are there in the league, really?
How many number ones there on the league?
Depends on the team, bro, because
Yeah,
I always thought Booker could be that, but I mean, right now, what I see Jokic, Embiid, Braun, because now Tatum's not a one, is he, or is Brown the one? You know what I mean? Like
I
yeah, that
mean,
one's
Giannis is a one, Shea is a
Giannis,
one.
Shades of one, not a championship team though. Luca's a one.
Oh
Luca.
yeah,
Uh,
Luca for sure.
Like I said, OKC not a championship team yet.
They could
I don't
be.
think they're good. I think there's a couple years out.
they might, yeah, no, well, yeah, yeah, because they got Chet emerging as a star.
I mean, I'll say Steph's still a one too.
Steph is still a one. Yeah, Steph's still a one. There's not 10. There's maybe 10 dudes.
I mean, when you get to like that borderline, like 8, 9, 10, it's like they got to have the right supporting cast around them. You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
have you have less margin for error to build around with the role players. Um,
I'm just glad ain't nobody got hurt this Olympics, bro.